Imagine walking past a local animal shelter. You see rows of dogs and cats, many of them healthy, many of them young, all without homes. Some pressed against the cages, hoping for attention. Others sit quietly as if they've already given up. Now, imagine knowing that many of those animals didn't have to be there at all. Imagine if overcrowded shelters, suffering, and euthanasia could be prevented. Not by a massive policy change, but by one simple everyday decision: spaying and neutering pets. Today, I want to persuade you that spaying and neutering is not just a personal choice, it is a moral responsibility. It reduces pet overpopulation, improves community well-being, and protects the health and behavior of our animals. First, let's talk about the reality of pet overpopulation. Every year, millions of animals enter shelters across the United States, and many never find homes. According to the American Humane Society, this ongoing issue leads to euthanasia of millions of animals simply because there aren't enough adopters. This isn't because the animals are unhealthy or dangerous. Many are perfectly adoptable. The problem is that too many animals are being born compared to the number of available homes. A major cause of this issue is unplanned breeding. When pets are not spayed or neutered, they reproduce quickly and often. A study by John M. Frank and Patrice L. Carlso Frank, published in Ecological Economics in 2007, found that reducing fertility through spaying and neutering is one of the most effective ways to lower shelter intake and euthanasia rates. This means every unaltered pet has the potential to contribute to a cycle that leads to overcrowded shelters and unnecessary loss of life. But here's the key point: the problem is preventable. Spaying and neutering directly reduces the number of unwanted animals being born. Fewer births mean fewer animals entering shelters and fewer animals facing euthanasia. Now, let's look at how the issue affects entire communities. Animal overpopulation doesn't just impact animals. It impacts people, resources, and local economies. Shelters require funding, staffing, medical care, and space. When they become overcrowded, communities must spend more money managing the problem. That same 2000 study by John M. Frank and Patricia L. Carlso Frank found that low-cost spay or neuter programs significantly reduce shelter intake and save communities money over time. In other words, prevention is not only humane, it's more cost-effective. Stray animals can also pose public safety concerns. They may spread diseases, cause accidents, or become aggressive due to fear and lack of care. By reducing the number of stray and unwanted animals, spaying and neutering helps create safer, healthier communities. Spaying and neutering also plays a major role in improving the health of pets. These procedures can reduce the risk of serious disease and help animals live longer lives. Research by Margaret B. Root Kustritz in the Journal of the American Veterinary Medical Association explains that spaying and neutering can prevent reproductive cancers and other health issues in pets. For example, spaying eliminates the risk of uterine infections and greatly reduces the risk of certain cancers in female animals. Neutering eliminates testicular cancer or lowers the risk of prostate problems in males. Additionally, according to Maria Arobe and Maria J. Pereira in 2025 study published in the journal Animals, neutering can positively influence both health outcomes and behavioral companion animals. Healthier pets not only live longer, they also have better quality of life. Beyond physical health, spaying and neutering can also improve behavior. Unaltered animals are more likely to roam, act aggressively, or engage in unwanted behaviors like marking territory. These behaviors often lead to pets being surrendered to shelters. Neutering helps reduce hormone-driven behaviors such as aggression and the urge to roam. This means pets are less likely to get lost, injured, or involved in fights. As a result, pets are more likely to stay in loving homes rather than being abandoned or surrendered. Now, it's important to acknowledge that some people have concerns about spaying and neutering. Some worry that it will change their pet's personality or cause harm. However, these procedures do not take away what makes your pet unique. Your dog will still be playful, your cat will still be affectionate. What changes are the risky behaviors and health concerns. In fact, a 2015 article from the University of Massachusetts Amherst Natural Sciences blog by Taylor Valsberg and Scarlett explains that spaying and neutering significantly reduces the number of unwanted animals entering shelters. While some studies suggest timing and individual factors should be considered, the overall scientific consensus is clear. When done responsibly, with veterinary guidance, the benefits outweigh the risks. At its core, this issue is about responsibility. When we choose to bring animals into our lives, we are making a commitment, not just to that pet, but to the broader community. Every unplanned litter contributes to the cycle of overpopulation and suffering, but every spayed or neutered pet helps break that cycle. Spaying and neutering is not just a medical procedure, it is an act of compassion. It prevents suffering before it begins, it protects animals, it supports communities. So let's return to the image of the animal shelter. The rows of cages, the hopeful eyes, the quiet waiting. Now imagine something different. Fewer cages, fewer animals waiting, more pets in loving homes. The future is possible. And it starts with one simple choice. Spaying and neutering saves lives, strengthens communities, and protects the animals we love. You have the power to make that difference. Let's make that choice because they're counting on us.